It is an interesting day in the energy realm. That's all I can say. It's a little chaotic today. It's a little hectic. I am doing my absolute. I'm gonna put this out there. I'm doing my absolute bestest to put this video together for y'all. I already filmed it. My dog was barking. That was fine. I edited it. And then right after, I deleted all of the video. Not just from my phone, but also from the trash bin within my phone. So it was, yeah, all of that for nothing. 20 minutes of my life completely wasted. But that's okay. Because that's what we're talking about. It's okay. It really is. Some things don't go the way planned, and that's not the world beating us up. That's not the world taking things away from us, although sometimes it does feel that way. But it's really just making room for better things, places, people, situations that will fulfill your soul versus just kind of like either like backpedaling it, the worst case scenario, or leeching off of it, or just giving you bare minimum, which is you sometimes it's okay, but for the most part, we're here for a soul fulfilling mission, okay? We don't need people who are vampires, gaslighters, narcissists, people who are going to hold us down and put us in our places or whatever their idea of that is. So, hear me out because a lot of situations did come up again. And although maybe a lot of us actually got through it, but we're still kind of putting some pieces together about why we attracted that type of person in the first place, romantic wise, but also friendship wise, because a lot of us are still 5'11, reevaluating our friendships, our family, and what we really involve ourselves and disconnect ourselves from because we have healthier boundaries now. And at the same time, like we have seen people from our past that we used to hold to certain standards just do the same thing that other people are doing and you didn't expect them to. Hopefully that makes sense. For a lot of us it will in a bad way. But at the same time, like maybe people crossing our boundaries and trying to whatever leech off of us or take from us or put us down or bring up toxic situations. Maybe we were holding them to a higher standard than they held themselves. And so that also gives us a lot of 512 reflection and self-evaluating on like why we expect these types of things from certain people and is it healthy, and when it is healthy, why are these people not respecting them, you know what I mean? So it's all a learning process. We can't control how other people treat us, how they behave, how they use or utilize situations to their own advantage. So we have to take everything with a grain of salt. And some people don't deserve a grain of salt. And I'll tell you why. Because some of us carry salt and pepper in our purse, and it's our personal travel sized carrying case salt and pepper and hot sauce. Not all of us do. Definitely not me. I don't put hot sauce in my purse because that's weird. But some of us do, and it's our personal stash. You don't deserve any of my salt. Well, then again, you might get a little bit of my salt. But I'm talking about energy, crystals, space, time, concentration, validation. We sometimes we don't need to give these people these things and they want them from us. And that's what they're testing our will and might for. It's tricky, but it happens. People will see what they can pull out of you and what they can, where your stop off and your boundaries are. They will test that. And that is you needing to be in check So you can realize when somebody's intentionally testing your boundaries because you may be dealing with a narcissist. Let's say. It's not always the case, but like 99.99999% of the case. Alright, anyway, the reason I'm holding these cards is for validation and confirmation of what we're talking about in today's video. And today's video has a lot of funky energy that may feel like it's a little disorganized, and that's okay because today I'm not organized. And that, my friend, was my message today, is that sometimes things don't go the way that they are planned. Sometimes they are a little chaotic the way things are built, but guess what? There's still a light at the end of the tunnel. Believe it or not. Some of us remembered to bring our flashlight. We just forgot it was in the back of everything. And we found it. And it had batteries, so we're good. We can see. We can see again. We can travel in the dark a little bit. Because we have guidance. Okay, anyway. So, a lot of the situationships that we go through, re-experience, are really triggering in toxic, but not always toxic. Sometimes it's just triggering because of our own personal insecurities and our expectations, which is fine. Again, your expectations, okay, this is going to be tricky, and this you're going to have to learn on your own. Unfortunately, I can't just teach this to you. Nobody could just teach this to anybody. And if they could, please teach the entire world, because some mother is need to learn. I'm just saying. But we can hold boundaries and we can have high standards for people. But our expectations are what's going to destroy our character, our soul, and our life. Be careful with your expectations of other people. And I mean that in a good way and a bad way. Because sometimes, hear me out, sometimes we have high expectations. Sometimes we expect people to live the way that we live and understand the things that we understand when we have not communicated them thoroughly. Things happen, it's okay. We're all humans. We make mistakes. Sometimes we're not the greatest at communicating, even though we have all of these tools and resources and languages. Sometimes we're not that great at communicating. That's okay. Because a path is being cleared, by us being triggered, a path is being cleared, hear me out, because we were triggered not just from our insecurities, but from actual things, places, and people disrespecting us. Valid. And so we had to reevaluate the way we treat life and treat others. Not necessarily the way we treat others, but the things that we allow people to get away with. You know what I mean? Hopefully that will make sense to you. And so there's this sense of shortened force between us and our manifestations. If you have not watched my Selfish Era video, this is your sign, because it is going to be a very important year. 2023 is going to be very important for us, especially if you're a spiritual person. If you have felt like you've had a high calling for quite some time now and have been trying to get all these pieces together, or maybe you felt like that for a while and then it went away because you got distracted with all these events in real life. That's real life too. Don't hear me out. But other things in your personal life that have distracted you or pulled you away from your mission and your goals and your manifestations, it's coming right back into a full circle. Those things happened for a reason. And they triggered you in a lot of ways to reevaluate your life and to reevaluate your priorities and what's important to you and what you need to take care of and how to ask for help for a lot of us. and basically how to just receive, period. Because some of us are not that great at receiving. Some of us are completely okay with where we're at, and that's okay in its own way. Yeah, you got gratitude figured out. I love you for that, but you deserve more. Hear me out. You deserve more. You are the star to your own story. A lot of us don't feel that way. A lot of us feel pressured by our responsibilities and our family members and our children and so forth. And sometimes those expectations for people. Okay, so this one's a little bit more of an extreme example. Say you have a toxic family member who is constantly asking you for money, constantly asking you for help. They put these situations together. Maybe they got like a baby mama. Extreme situation. These are just examples, okay? I'm sorry if this is triggering for anybody. But I'm trying to utilize my analogies and my examples here because I think it's important. Say you have a family member, your kid, your spouse, or not your spouse, like your kid or something, who's constantly asking you for help, but is also constantly putting themselves in toxic situations and places and things and doing things that they know are going to cause chaos. And maybe they've given us a lot of love and respect for a long time, but as soon as we cut them off from that energy source, from that helping, that money flow, whatever it was we were helping them with, they flipped script. They changed as a person. And this is the situationships I've been talking about. Like, this could have even been a lover. This is like, maybe it couldn't have been so extreme. Maybe it was way less extreme than what my example is. But this is just an example using an extreme one, so it makes a little bit more clarity, a little bit more sense. Sometimes when we hold these people to certain standards or expectations, and they do the opposite of what we want them or expect them to do, which is literally probably just loving us healthily or respecting our choices, they flip scripts and act like you're the bad guy, and that they are a victim. Okay, yeah, you're more than likely dealing with a narcissist, an extreme narcissist at the same time too, but sometimes the way we view people isn't the way that they really are. Maybe we're 522, seeing them through a lens of our own existence. We're seeing what we want to see and not who they really are. And so by you going through the selfish error, being triggered by these situationships, being triggered by these people who do not hold you with respect and, reciprocate the energy that you pour out to them. Oops. You're the star. It is time for you to go into your selfish error. Not because you're going to be lonely. You're not going to be alone when you start prioritizing yourself. It may feel that way at first because we get rid of a lot of people that way, but a lot of those people were leeching off of your energy and things that you thought didn't really have a whole lot of value, but did to them. And, maybe money is nothing to you. Maybe you helping somebody, maybe it doesn't really, like, maybe it doesn't take that much away from you, but the one time we're not able to, you see them change who they are and act like you're a bad guy because you are not capable of giving them, or you just don't want to give them what they want. They change who they are. That is a very crappy feeling. Hear me out. It is. But at the same time, like, sometimes we hold these people to these expectations that they are reciprocating healthy energy the way that, they should or whatever. And they just aren't. It's a facade. It's a fake. It's them pretending, or maybe they're not pretending, but maybe they really do have some issues when people cut them off, which is, something that is something to do with them, nothing to do with you. My point. And so, You're being guided back towards yourself. And okay, so the mirror element devil lived. You have to go through a lot of this deeper shadow stuff to really understand more about yourself and why we are these individuals. Yes, there's the community aspect. Yes, there's the community effort to being alive. But at the same time, we can't control other people. We can't make them make better decisions. God, would the world be a better place if we could? I'm just kidding. Really, I'm just kidding. Okay. But, but, if people were really like healthy about the choices that they made and made choices that were not selfish based off of their own desires, quick needs, and wants, and whatever, then, there would probably be a lot less fear related elements. People wouldn't be so afraid of everyone fiending and fending for themselves. And, that we would be able to realize that there would actually be an ecosystem of, like, I won't say equality, because that's pretentious as fuck, but there would be this sort of peace and balance as above, so below, and duality. and and with that understanding that the world doesn't really work out that way, but we can rise above that by understanding the world better, and that we cannot control how other people reciprocate. And we can't expect things from people. And by having these expectations, I'm not talking about boundaries, and I am not talking about standards. Again, we can have high standards and we can have high boundaries. I'm not talking about walls here. We don't need to have walls in order to have boundaries. People need to at least be able to figure out how to get in. Like, come on, leave a back door or something, like an escape route. It's just somebody can sneak in at least. I'm just kidding. But I'm not kidding. Please. Don't have a wall up, but, focus and prioritize yourself, because this year is really, it's really about manifesting your dreams, and it's going to be based off of your own decisions. You're going to decide to manifest your dreams. You're going to decide to put in that focus and that energy towards your manifestations. You're going to put that energy where you want it to be, and by doing that, you're going to see a lot of benefit. So just understand, prioritize yourself, and understand and respect that these triggers and these situationships came up so we could reevaluate what's important to ourselves individually, and what we want to create around us, and what we want to get rid of. Because some people bring chaos into our lives, even if it's minuscule. Maybe they don't directly bring chaos into our lives, but there's like this energy attachment to them. And so by us is not necessarily associating ourselves with them, but being around them, that sort of energy lingers and attaches itself, or tries to attach itself to us in some sort of way. That's complicated to understand, so don't think too hard into that one. But sometimes people, we grow out of them. Sometimes we grow out of a way of thinking. Sometimes we grow out of bad habits, and that's you ending a karmic cycle. Okay? A big thing of karmic cycle ending is you seeing repeated patterns and making different decisions after seeing the repeated patterns and cycles. And so, again, like I said earlier, a lot of us are evaluating, reevaluating why we attracted this person, place, situationship in the first place. Why did we attract this? And it's not because you're a victim. It's not because you're a bad guy. It's not because the world is against you. And it's not because sometimes things just happen the way that they happen because people want to make a different decision. And sometimes they're not the bad guy either. Sometimes they just wanted to make a different decision. Sometimes they like chocolate, and sometimes like you like vanilla. Please don't misinterpret that, because I just realized how. Anyway, so sometimes we just make different decisions based off of our likes and dislikes, and we just go a different route. And that's cool. That's fine. Nobody is the bad guy in that situation, but that is also why we don't need to prioritize relationships. And I know that sounds funky, but sometimes we don't need to prioritize a relationship with somebody. Sometimes the relationship we need to prioritize, this is going to be triggering, or probably not. It's probably not going to be that triggering. Yourself! I know! It was a surprise, wasn't it? Yeah, sometimes we have to prioritize ourselves and love ourselves first and put ourselves first, because again, we cannot pour from an empty cup. And sometimes people drain us, and we don't need to be drained. Sometimes we just need to focus on ourselves and put our messenger on silence. Maybe we need time to ourselves. Maybe that time is a few months to get our stuff together, to get things together, to get things organized and rolling. Because some of the beginning stages of being really abundant are, I won't say a struggle, but it's going to take a lot of focus. It's going to take a lot of your energy. It's going to take you waking up at a certain time every morning. And it's going to take you getting to it. And so we just got to kind of set ourselves away from other people and grow apart. Sometimes we just grow apart from people, not even because it's a toxic situation, just because we have different paths. And that's really crazy to think about too. It's not even just about making a different decision because you like a different flavor of ice cream. Okay? Yeah. Sometimes we just go different paths. And nobody's the bad guy. Nobody's the good guy either. We just make different decisions. And so it's important to maybe have a healthy relationship. Look, okay, you can have a healthy relationship and not prioritize the person. That sounds weird, but I've actually put a lot of thought into this. Hear me out, and I've watched a lot of self-care, self-help, self-development, self-growth, and relationship videos. And the number one problem that people had was prioritizing their relationship. What? I know. It sounds strange, but you being around somebody 24/7, how can you expect anything to change when you're around them 24/7 and you don't give yourself any sort of different type of environment, any different space to think and reevaluate, or just focus on something else that doesn't involve them at all and just involves you completely? Sometimes that stuff is difficult when you're around somebody 24/7, but at the same time, when you can master that, when you can master the idea of you being the main character in your life, it's 5:33. When you can master the fact that you are the, not selfish, but you are the main character, and that's why we go through the selfish era, because we can reevaluate what we need to focus on and what we need to prioritize. When we do that, things roll out smoother, and then things that were toxic before, they just kind of dissipate, and we don't have to be involved with it. And when we realize that we're not involved with it anyway, and we never really actually were, we were just letting those things affect us. Key here, we were letting things affect us. The trigger, the secret answer is in the trigger. What are you allowing to be triggered by? What are you allowing yourself to be triggered by? Sometimes, even though it may be triggering, we don't have to actually be triggered by it. We don't have to have these low expectations either, where we're like, oh, well, I saw that coming anyway. Whatever. Sometimes, you can just understand that things just happen because they happen. And there's something really freeing about that thought. It may be complicated to understand at first. There's something really freeing about understanding that. So make decisions based off of you and not just other people around you and your responsibilities. Yes, we gotta prioritize our kids. Yes, we gotta do what we can, but sometimes prioritizing yourself allows you to provide for them the way that you want to. I.e., somebody who's doing a small business from home so they can homeschool their kid, build a life for their kid, and have all of these tools, resources, and also teach them at the same time about how to do it themselves and and do their own thing even, but give them the base skills and the tools and resource, or maybe not resources, but the tools and skills and knowledge to do that themselves. Sometimes you're doing a lot more for your kid when you're doing things for yourself. That's what I'm trying to explain. Maybe that didn't maybe that didn't maybe that didn't communicate that well, but hopefully it did. Because sometimes when we're taking care of ourselves, we're being healthy, we're having this, okay, so again, reflective element of life. Your kids see a lot more than what you think you show them. I know. That's a scary thought. They do. We just do. How many of your secrets did you know about your parents that they didn't know that you knew about? There's probably quite a few. And some things that you don't want to talk about. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? So, like, understand that you prioritizing and putting this healthy focus back towards yourself and putting this energy towards yourself, you're actually doing a lot more for them than what you think or understand you are, because you're setting an example for them, basically. You're allowing them to see what self love really means, focusing on your own goals, prioritizing your own goals, prioritizing healthy relationships, boundaries, and all of these things that nourish you. You are teaching them the foundations to building a better life. You are ending karmic cycles by prioritizing yourself. It's crazy, it's mind blowing, but it is actually that simple. I want you to sit with that one today because we're going to talk about it more tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday. It is hump day. We have some really icky things to get into that are going to be a little bit deeper and dive a little darker into shadow work and boundaries and how to really handle situations better. Be the game changer, the game creator. You can not necessarily, I hate the word manipulate, but I really feel like if you had a healthy idea of manipulation and energy, you wouldn't think of it so crazy and dark. You can manipulate things in towards your favor and it not be catastrophic or chaotic for other people. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what manifestation is anyway. You're manipulating the energy around you and telling it that you want it to focus on yourself because you have a game plan. And then the universe is like, oh, this person's got a game plan. Let's give her some tools and resources and let's exchange so we can evolve and grow. That's like that's like a basic understanding of everything. So we're putting all of these thoughts and concepts together so we can manifest better things for ourselves. Better relationships with ourselves, better food, better ideas, better concepts. Just better things. I don't know. All the things. It happens together. It's a process. So I hope you guys sit with that one. And I hope it resonates because today is a chaotically funky day, but it is not the end of the world. And whatever the full moon and Mercury retrograde was clearing out is making space for better things. Remember that. Remember that thought when you go in for the rest of the week, because we're going to kick this end of this Mercury retrograde butt's ass kaput. Whatever. And make it our biatch. I'm cursing a lot today. I told you guys I'm in the mood. But we are. We're going to tell this Mercury grade who's boss and who's taking control of this shadow season. Because shadow work is our biash, and it is our tool, and it is our resource to grow and better ourselves. We are not a victim. It is not our enemy. Shadow work is here for us. Okay. Anyway, I love you guys. Have healthy boundaries. But don't keep your expectations for other people so high that you end up disappointing yourself. I love you. I know. But I really do. It'll be okay. If we cut people off, it's okay. Because better things are going to prioritize and focus themselves. Energy just works that way. I love you guys. Bye.